Government must put its foot down on that. That is one. Two, you see, funding SMEs is an interventionist, merely an interventionist thing. That's why in many countries, and we try to have it in the past, People's Bank, Community Bank, there was this bank called NAC, not Nigerian Bank for MBCI.
Okay,
Nigerian Bank for Commerce.
Okay, not Nexim.
No, Nexim is for the big guys, the big boys. Nigerian Bank for Commerce and Industry, which was merged with the National Industrial, the National Bank for, that was the Bank for Industry, which was merged out to form Bank of Industry, okay? And we need a bank for small enterprises, dedicated for them. Dedicated for them. I know that the federal government had tried to encourage the banks, okay? Encourage banks to have SME desk and put some money for it, but it has not worked. Because the banks will use the same criteria for the big boys as for the small boys. So we must create the criteria for small boys, we must create specially targeted small boys banks, but still run like a business. So it does not go the way of the MBCI of old, whereby people collect the money and this money was politicized and so on and so forth. That is one. Two, there must be report, constant report, especially in partnership with the organized private sector, like the Chambers of Commerce, like the Association of Small and Medium Enterprises, like the NASI, National Small Scale Industries. It is very important we do that. And not only that, we should also make sure that we have serious people. Again, not that government will really necessarily go and start dictating who should be leadership of these institutions, these OPS groups, organized private sector, but everybody keeps an eye on it because the government has a stake in it. And with that, I think we should begin to get there. But we must liberalize, make as simple and as easy as possible access to funding. And when I say funding, again, I do not necessarily mean cash. Okay, let me just give you an anecdotal example of an experience I had. I was in the Ministry of Labor, 2008. I had the opportunity to go to Turkey. The trip was funded by, we were talking of creating jobs. 2008 was the year when the economy of the world crashed. It affected all of us. So we were just look at countries that were doing very well. So we were invited by Turkey to look at what they're doing. Let me tell you, every institution they have that we have here. One, we have what they call SMEDAN, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency. That's their work. Check out their law. But I've never had them, and I'm serious about it, I've never had SMEDAN do anything practical or reasonable.
In Nigeria, that's
yes. At least. And it's not a matter of indictment, it's a matter of focus. They need to know that their duty is to develop small enterprises. So what do they do in Turkey? They are in the office in every, let's say, local government. Because that's where the SMEs are, not in Abuja as such, every local government. You want to do a bakery. I'll give it again as an example. Your duty is all over, everybody knows, advert all over. You go to the closest SMEDAN office to you. I want to do a bakery. Okay. What about bakery? They put you through. They'll be filling the form for you. Let's assume you cannot even read and write. You want to do a bakery? Okay. Help you with this. They open a file for you immediately, take all the details. Good. Say, this thing you have described, this is going to be a small size bakery. But the first thing is that, come on Monday, you will come and do entrepreneurial training.
Lecture.
Yes. They put you through. You see how they're doing bakery, because they have feasibility study for virtually every known business. Free, it is there, it's their work. Even Pakistan has it. Google Pakistan SMEDAN, you will see it there. Hundreds of thousands of feasibility study. You just bring it out. They will give you the feasibility study. They will first of all train you entrepreneurial training to know how to keep your records, how to organize your business. The staff, don't bring your wife and your children. Even if you are going to be there, how you are going to put them to make sure everybody do their work properly. At the end of 3-4 days, they give you a certificate.
That you can do business.
That yes, that you have gone through this training. That certificate, you take it to the Small Enterprises Bank. That with your feasibility, which they give you free, This time we have not paid. In fact, you even get small snacks.
As they are training you.
Yeah. You get something. You like this to government to intervene.
Yeah.
That you know that yes, government is doing something. Now, if government has done that for you and they tell you to pay tax, will you not pay the tax?
Precisely.
So, and it's not difficult. This is not at local government level. I went there, I sat down in one of the programs because I really wanted to feel it. And I know that just like all that period one was in government was an opportunity to develop yourself and also have a lot of ideas you can push out. Not necessarily when you are there, but even now that one is free to talk and arrange, So you take it to small enterprise bank with your feasibility study, they already know the equipment you need. They're going to get it for you. Now, you see that equipment manufacturer, government funded, he went through the same system before he started manufacturing the small manual bakery equipment and stuff, and the man making the pan for the baking and stuff like that. So everything goes into each other, and you can see exponential growth. So that there are statistics that they move from, let's say, from 1 to 5,000 in 2 or 3 years when they began to implement this. Nigeria today, the statistics is that if you start up an SME in 2 years, it has packed up. Either it has been killed by regulatory powers of government. The local government will come and say, "Where's your signboard? It's 200,000. Where's your?"
Or your van is going on the road, so they seize it.
They seize your van and puncture your tire, because you have a sticker on it, and it's going on. And in fact, it's part of things like, for instance, that they do very much in Lagos. A lot of business in Lagos, they don't put their signboards outside. They don't put their stickers on their van, which is free advert. And
it takes us back to what you said earlier on, where you make doing the right thing cheap, people will obey.
And the worst part is that most states are not doing anything at all about helping SMEs grow.
Their own is tax. They just want to collect tax from you. Anyhow you are getting money, is not their business.
They don't call it tax, they call it IGR.
Internally generated revenue.
Which is a mishmash of everything.
Which is what the banks are doing can actually be termed internally generated revenue by the banks too. They give you loan. They already have at the back of their mind that this is how much they are going to make from you. Yeah. That's the capital plus interest at the end of the year. So that's the focus. How you get there is not their business. Whereas, is it possible also for banks to have desks in every bank to help people they have given loan for business to succeed? For example, let me share the experience that this company, Dark Communications, had several years back. Company took a loan, I think 190 or 290 million then, from a bank to import equipment for the purposes of expansion. You import the business, it gets to the port. There was a crisis then. I think it was the June 12th crisis then. Your equipment are
stocked there.
Demurrage. Acquiring demurrage. By the time the crisis was over, the time for payment of loan was due. Yet, you have not even secured your equipment to install, to begin to transmit and make profit and all of that. All the projections were not working. But the bank wasn't interested in all of that. The bank was calculating interest, multiple. It became compound interest and all of that. Before you know it, 190 million had become over $1 billion. And yet the bank was interested and hell-bent on still collecting that.
It's attitude, it's orientation. And that's where, orientation can only be done by government. Look, we have to grow our SMEs. You banks, you are in business of making profit. But in doing that, you must do it through the growth of the SMEs. That is one. Two, the process, we streamline the processes of even relating with banks and relating with SMEs in a way that is so simple and not complicated, and is also cheap.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, thirdly, you see the growth of SMEs. Yeah. We add to value to government because government can now actually tax them and increase its revenue base. So that's symbiotic relationship, and so government must put its foot down on this. And as I said, it's just a matter of, it's very easy. It's not too. So this is what we want done, and we want a reporting system. Let's have this done. And if you do that, you can get a lot. Look at agriculture. Today, if you take agriculture and look at the value chain opportunities, we can begin to mop up substantially our problem about unemployment just by integrating people into the value chain. Either you work in the farm, or you work in the transportation, or work in the processing, or work in the post-processing activity, or work in the commercialization, the marketing, and so on. Then even after that, in the secondary processing, because every agricultural product is really, even processed agricultural product could also be a raw material for another product, you know. So I think that government just need to assist.
Is there a way government can evolve a policy that can, because I'm still particular about these banks, whether government can evolve a fiscal, is it fiscal or monetary policy now, to make the banks come back to that core responsibility that instead of investing in receiver managers that end up being undertakers for non-performing companies, it is better for them to create desks that will have people that will help small scale businesses to succeed.
Yes, government can put in structures that allow, and that's what the government is actually trying to do with the small enterprise agencies. They try to put in money in last government, and it's still there. You see, yes, but new rules, some rules have to be put in place. The banks have to key to it, and the banks must understand, for instance, that even though they must recover the money, the loans they've given, they must also understand that this is a specific policy of government, that we must grow this. But if the banks only insist on the profit, they look for the easiest way to do it, which is import from China. Every 3 months, you get your money back, and we develop the industries in those countries. I will kill the industries here. Then, so that's why both of them, both government and, but I don't think it's a punitive thing. I don't think we just need a matter of we trying to understand the rules. But if you talk about double-digit interest, that's another thing that our industry will never grow until our interest rate is single. And you ask any banker, say, look, that's what the CBN gave us, because the cost of funds, blah, blah, blah. I want government to go into the issue of the cost of funds. And I think this TSA, they're starting now, if they can think it deeper, let me say deeper, can actually assist to reduce the mantra of the cost of funds, which is what jack up the MRR, the minimum discount rate, which is also what jack up the interest rate. So if they think it deep, we find out that most of those funds is actually government funds. So if most of those funds are not being mopped up and sent to the CBN, we achieve many things. One, of course, we achieve some sanctity for the management of those funds. We can keep more funds for access to government. Secondly, government can now make monies available at its own cost.
So government will be the one determining the
yes. But if you say, oh, cost of funds, cost to who? So government eliminate that gray area. You see, the issue of cost of funds is a very gray. You know, there are different shades of
very
green.
opaque.
It's a very opaque area.
Yeah.
So we eliminate that. So the TSA really has a lot of advantage. But again, we need to continue to think. Let us not say that we have solved the problem. It's a good move. I like it. But it's really an interim move, because until we think it deeper and see how we can replicate it. But that is if it does not pull down the banks in the meantime. Because the banks have been used to these soft and easy funds. They've been fed, you know, when children
spoon fed
with it. Now the thing is going down.
You want to withdraw it?
No, but the money is being withdrawn, and so they found a way to also reflate the blanks through, but now sane money, not insane money. Same money that you know you are going to get just a 0.25%, and you should be happy with that. That's you also see businesses growing, and the more transactions, the more people that have accounts, you make money from that. But this money that we are making. There's no law, as far as I'm concerned, there's no practice that says that banks must make billions of naira profit every year. Why should you? When industries are not making billions, why should you make billions? What is special in banks?
They say it's only in Nigeria that banks post that kind of profit when they're actually doing nothing.
So now they will make reasonable profit now, but they will be happy because they know they are growing businesses, and the more businesses they grow, the more opportunities for them.
And over time, the profit will begin to increase.
So this is how it is. So it's not really difficult. It's not really bad. So, but all the time, it's still government that must lead the way, and by ensuring that whatever we are doing now, and we are not happy with the solution, change it.
Okay.
Okay? Tweak it. Then in doing that, look at what others are doing. I'm not saying we send a team abroad. We've done too much of that. Look at what others are doing.
Practically,
yes. Practically them. The issue of the tax regime, resolve it. Make payment of tax easy. Make it cheap.
And not multiple. Not multiple layers.
Eliminate that. Let me give you another typical example. If you import anything, I know you will not go and import toothpick, but let's say you import toothpick from China, which is a shame, you need to pay money on different desks, up and down. It will take you minimum a week to clear your goods. But I know countries where clearing of your goods is not subject to, there's no precondition. That is, payment of your import duty is not a condition for clearing your goods. Your goods are shipped directly to you from wherever you imported them from, and go straight to you. If I want a lad at the papa, that's just one step. The second step is they are bringing it to your house. Okay. Because it's shipped directly to you. It eliminates all this wahala of pre-shipment. I mean, people going up and down the wharf and delay and so on, and theft and corruption and everything. Why? Because when you ship, the cost of shipment and the cost of clearing is already embedded in the payment made over there. And it goes, the money goes straight into government pocket. You don't even need any custom man to collect it.
All right. Honestly, if I had known all these years that we've been friends, that you are into entrepreneurship and a lot of this, I would have keyed into that since, and probably our friendship would have been better for it, because I probably will be speaking from this perspective too. Well, it's not too late. I'm sure you'll make some of this knowledge available to me at no cost.
No problem. we are from the same area.
That's why we are brothers. Prince Adetokunbo Kayode is a senior advocate of Nigeria. He's also the first deputy president, Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, former minister of Culture and Tourism, Labor, Justice, and Defense. All of this between the period of 2007 and 2011. Thank you so much, sir. I really, really appreciate your being with us this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do have a nice day. That's Focus Nigeria. This morning, the conversation continues. My name is Benga Oliver. I'll see you tomorrow.